Hello, welcome back to another video. I'm here just by the banks of the River Irwell in a place called Clifton Country Park. It's truly amazing. This place is steeped in history, mining history. This is where James Brindley got involved with a place called Wet Earth Colliery. I'm kind of on a bit of a recce at the minute to try and work out what is going on here. I'm with Danny here. So we've come to do a little bit of mudlarking or beach combing or whatever you want to call it, if you can do beach combing by a river. But the place is teeming with sort of like, as we look on the ground here, it's teeming with just bits of pottery and all sorts of stuff. So we've brought a shovel and some rakes, and we're going to see what we can find. Now if you're looking at there's a bit of a grey cloudy area on the screen there. It's because the camera's just blown over on the tripod, and I think I've just scratched my lens. Anyway, cracking on, we'll see what we can find, because some of the pottery here is absolutely fascinating, and we've seen clay pipes, just bits of clay pipes. The challenge of the day is to try and find the little front bucket bit if we can. It's just starting to rain. We've had a complete explore around the whole area. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So let's see if we can find anything on this beach. So if you can see that, Danny's found a bit of old pot there with like it says, bezels on it. See, what's that? That's wood. It's got a turn piece in the middle there, and those two, I presume these were, I think those have been worn down, because I imagine it would be more machine than that, but it's soft, it's wood. What is that? See, I'd be sceptical about finding stuff here, because I would think, oh, it's just modern day rubbish, but the fact that the river's been up here, it's obviously deposited stuff that it's carried down with it. So that's something special, that, I think. Not sure. Oh, I've got one there. Clay pipe. Danny's found a clay pipe, piece of a clay pipe. Look at that. That's where the thing would have been, where you'd have smoked the tobacco. Incredible. Incredible. More. Oh my God. More. That's wood. What in God's name is that? There's loads of clay pipes here, just finding loads of bits of clay pipes. Look at this in my pocket. Danny's finding even more. I think what's happening is that this is the faster part of the river runs on the outside. I know it's obvious to some people, but I'm only just getting the idea of it. This slower part is where the river's depositing stuff. This is incredible. What have you found? Look at that. Let me just pull out a bit. Won't focus. Focus. Yes, it's focused. Look at that. That is incredible. Now, it could be an old ornament. Oh, that is a find and a half. Look at that. In the water. Oysters. Danny's found that little head, what we think is off a pipe. Well, then I've just been screaming at him, Danny, Danny! Look at that. Oyster shell. An oyster shell. Do you remember the other video I did where we looked at the old glassworks and we talked about the Victorians eating oysters? How do you find a sea creature? By a river. That has obviously been some fast food that some Victorian has ate. I think that's incredible. That's coming home with me, that. That is that little head there, the clay pipes and that oyster shell are the finds of the day. We're going to come back here, I think, and do a video for the main channel, and we'll do a bit of mudlarking, because this, everywhere you look, there's bits of pipes, there's bits of pottery. We can't date it, we just don't know, but little tiny fragments with patterns on. What a place, incredible. Yeah, it's as I suspected. The River Irwell's come this way, right? It's hit that rock over there and can't go further on, so it's had to cut round the rock, and it's found a way, and then it chicanes back round that way again. Amazing. We're going to go down the riverbank there. Just a bit of a break from the beach combing or mudlarking, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go over that side of the riverbank because there's something I want to show you. So we'll take a look at that outflow there that you can see in the distance, and there's something else I want to show you, so let's go. So my apologies for the poor picture quality and the poor sound just then. As I said, the camera blew over, I scratched the lens, so now I'm filming this on a GoPro. Not the best for sound, plus it kept raining, then it kept brightening up, so the weather was all over the place as well. Anyway, hopefully things should improve from now on. Amazing. There's a distinctive smell of sewage. I presume it's been cleaned enough to put back into the river. But there's a bit of a shit spray going in the air. Just what we like. We're just going to go down the bank here, because there's something I want to show you down here. Almost bloody vertical. A bit of a pipe there. Semi-vertical bank. Use the trees, Martin, use the trees. Oh, this is interesting. It's not what we thought. That was a bit of a bugger. Right, that's interesting. Go up a pipe. They just don't seem to put springs on modern maps, do they? Anyway, here's the old map, 1800s. See where it says SPR? We wondered if that's the spring that's giving rise to that little outlet that we've just been looking at. Anyway, we'll never know, but just a theory. Okay, so we're down the bank, come down the bank from up there, and we're just, obviously, as you know, we're by the River Irwell, brought you onto the north bank of the River Irwell here. If my nose is running, I apologise, it's one of those fresh days where your nose runs. But there's something here I want to show you. Now, a lot of you will know what this is. I'm not sure. It's to do with mine workings. This place, the Irwell Valley, is riddled with mine workings. Obviously there was the Agecroft Colliery, there's Wet Earth Colliery here, and there's many other collieries. But this is what I got told about, and it's here. Look at this. Look at this. So I presume this is either some kind of drainage sort of adit or an entrance to the mine. Your guess is as good as mine. I know some of you may know, but I'm only surmising, and I can only surmise because I'm not going to set myself up as an expert. I'm wondering if they brought the coal out here, loaded it onto the Irwell behind us. Because in the very early days, pre-canal, and some of these mines predate the canals, they use the river as a source of transport, but it's very unreliable using the river because obviously it goes up swells, it goes down, and this, the River Irwell at this point, isn't that deep. Well, let's, I know what you're saying, let's have a look inside. Torch on. Look at that. Big, all that is just sort of like being deposited by the river, and it. I'll just zoom in. Amazing. Now, what I absolutely love about this, if you look at it, and this is how old it is, it's been hewn out of the rock, right? And you can still see there all the pick marks from the people that made this thing. And that's why it's, I mean, the earliest mining operations that I've read about in this area was 1750. God knows when this dates back to, but obviously hand picked out. And just look at that. Now, if you're saying, Martin, get in there, go and have a look. Number one, it's padlocked. Number two, with it being a mine, you've got to be careful because there's gas in there. And it's the sort of gas that you don't necessarily smell. You get overcome by it and you collapse, and of course while you're down you continue to inhale it and you can die. So anyone thinking of coming looking here or going in, just be aware, this is not a cave, this is a mine, and there is gas, so you've got to be really careful. I need to give you that warning. I'm not going in there. As fascinating as it is, I'm not going to go in there. Okay, I think, I'm not sure, I think there's another one down the riverbank here. Let's go and have a look. And if you think this is mud here, it's actually rock. Look at this. We're right on the bedrock here. It looks muddy, but it's actually rock. I love the fact that the river cut right down to the bedrock. It's going uphill, isn't it? So this one looks like it's sort of going uphill a little bit, which makes me think even more that it's some kind of drainage system, I don't know. But again, cut directly into the rock. Makes sense it's drainage because it would feed out into the river, but absolutely fascinating, eh? These tunnels situated on the north bank of the Irwell there, they run in this direction, and the only thing I'm guessing that they might have something to do with is Irwell Colliery there. But that's still a fair way from where we are. Anyway, not sure. I just love the way the rock is over there, on the other side, the rock face. And I bet over the years and years and years the river's cut out this valley and cut through that rock, I bet you. Not that I'm a geologist or anything, I'm just guessing.
Could be a secret trapdoor.
I pull that and the river goes down there. Right, so we're back on the bridge, and don't forget we've been over on that side of the river where you see the outfall there. Follow that round. Now we're just going to investigate this side of the river now, because I believe there's another one there. So, bit of a steeper bank this one, let's see what we can do. So as we walk down this path, just over to the right is something called Fletcher's Canal. I know it doesn't look much like a canal, but we'll be exploring it or looking at it in more detail, perhaps in another video. This video is just a reconnaissance mission, as I say. The whole thing is just to get to know this area of Clifton Country Park and to try and work out what is going on here, and quite a fascinating place it is. Okay, so told you we're on the other side of the river. A very steep bank there. We're going to go down there because there's something I want to show you down there. Well, they're not. Oh, shit. Wellies are not very good. They're alright in water, but not when you're trying to scale a bank like this. Well, look at this. I think it's arse time. Now, no doubt this went straight into the mine, or into the workings of the mine, because that way we're not far away from Wet Earth Colliery. We're not sure. Again, we don't know. I'm only speculating. If this was what they call the tail race, where the water from the water wheel came back out and joined the River Irwell, not sure. Anyway, there's a little hole there. Should we take a look through and have a look what's inside? So who knows, what it is. It's very difficult. I'm trying to read up on Wet Earth Colliery at the minute to find out what it was all about, but today's just been a bit of a reconnaissance mission. And Danny was like a dog with a bone. Once he'd found some stuff by that other riverbank, I couldn't get him away from the river looking for things. Just having a bit of a recce up the riverbank here, because we saw something from the top up there before that we're trying to see from down here. If I get to it, I'll show you. It's really weird, it's so quiet down here, isn't it? We just got really spooked by a duck that suddenly flew in, landed in the water, and then all of a sudden I saw that flapping about up there. I thought it was a person. Anyway, strange. Ah, what's this? This could be interesting. Turn the camera around. can see part of the mechanism here. This is metal. And then in the stone there, you've got that line. Don't know what that was. There's actually some writing on it here. I don't know if you can read it properly. It says, does that say about? I don't know what that says. Well, this says something Smith at the end. Hammersmith. Something Hammersmith. Is it? Yeah, Hammersmith, London. And then up it goes. Up there. That's incredible, isn't it? Again, you've got marks on the rock here where it's been cut and hewn out. So we'll go up here, see if we can look inside. See the timber, how it comes out there, out of the wall. Can you make that out on the camera? That's a piece of timber that's coming out the wall, and then the very precarious bricks up there. So frustrating to not know what it is. I can only speculate that it's some kind of vent, shaft vent or something like that system from the workings below. I know that Brindley built a siphon underneath the river, but I don't think it's at this point. But what a find, eh? That is incredible. Can you imagine when that was made? I know a lot of the colliery, Wet Earth Colliery, developed over time, and it went from water power to steam power eventually. That's a classic piece of steam machinery, isn't it? But again, it could just be a vent with the rivets on it, and the fact that it's all bolted together, and how far does that go into the ground, and what was it? I can only speculate. Anyway. So after a little bit more digging and speaking to my friend John from the Derbyshire Caving Club, he came up with this picture courtesy of Swinton Library, and there it is. That's what it is, the turbine pump. Now this picture threw me somewhat, because what you've got to remember is that hole in the side that you see on it, that has now degraded more and more, and that bit has now fallen, and it's what we see in our current picture. The woodwork on the top has obviously all fallen down. The piece of metal hanging down, I think we saw that on the floor. But the bottom part of it is completely covered with shrubbery, and that's not there anymore. So that's what threw me. But that's it, the turbine pump. I imagine this was a slightly later addition to Wet Earth Colliery, because the colliery was active for 180 years. Now in 1700s, it wouldn't probably have had this. This was probably added later in the 1800s. But the mystery is solved. It's the turbine pump. Now, what the turbine pump did, I'm not quite sure. I'll look into this further. Like I say, I'm not technically minded on these things, but there's our answer. What a find. And we've had to come down a bit of a trek down the riverbank here. It's not been easy, but we saw it from the path above up there. Decided to come and take a closer look. That's what it's all about. I think that is why I do this, to find probably one of the best finds this year, and it's only January. Right, so we've just come away from the side of the Irwell. We're back at Danny's house for the moment, and we're going to look at what we've got. We've got it all laid out there on a little tray for you. Some of the more interesting stuff. The thing that got me the most was the oysters, honestly, the incredible. What is that you're working on there? Is that one of your...
Yeah, that's Gate Street, which is a lost street in Swinton.
Gate Street?
Gate Street. It's now called Abbey Drive. My great-great-grandparents lived on...
Because you're from Swinton?
I'm from Swinton, yeah.
I'm from Swinton.
So they lived on Gate Street in the 30s.
So you're recreating that?
I am doing, yeah. It's based off a photograph, and I've also got Lowry walking down Gate Street there. It's a subliminal.
You're doing it in the style of Lowry, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
And it looks more of a painting that rather than the clay.
Yeah, that's acrylic, that's not clay, that one.
Anyway, what I'll do is I'll show you what we've found. I'll get the other lens and I'll talk you through what we've found. Probably easy finds really, but when we were out there I told you, didn't I, that thing, that's my lens. Camera fell over on the tripod, you know what I'm like. Put the camera there, walked away, made a quick brew by the thing, and the wind just blew it over, bang, landed on the lens, so there's got a scratch on that now, so that's going to have to be sorted out. So luckily I had the GoPro with us. Anyway, I'll talk you through this stuff we've got. Right, here we go. So various bits of pottery. I'm not saying this is like old or antique, but it was just interesting finds. We'll never know how old it was because it's all fragmenting and probably absolutely worthless. Danny's little ornament, that lady's head, number 15 on it. Obviously, maybe a incomplete number. It's been a hollow ornament, that, hasn't it? Initially, we thought it was part of a clay pipe, but it's been a little ornament. And like I say, it's strange that her eye is blacked out. But we were quite chuffed with it anyway, and he's keeping all of that. More pottery, little bits of pottery, lovely patterns on them. Well, I thought so anyway. A bit more detail for you there. God knows what that's been. More patterns there, and the clay pipes, of course. Now, unfortunately, we never found the bucket part, you know, where the tobacco goes, but fascinating to see how these things were made. And of course, oysters. Now, I'm more than prepared to believe that some family have had a picnic and thrown the remains of it into the river, but as we know from previous videos, the Victorians ate oysters, and I think that's what it is, Victorian fast food. Could be wrong. And a lid, that you saw me pulling that out of the water. Again, could be worthless. A lid off a teapot or something like that. Right, so there you go. That's the best thing I've ever found anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing, yeah.
I've never done anything like that before, so it was great to find those little finds. So we're going to go back to the River Irwell, where me and him will sign out, and it might have gone dark, but we're going to go and sign out by the Irwell. So I don't know if you can see us or not, but we're still here. It's gone dark now, and it's started to rain, and we're still beachcombing. We better call it a day, haven't we? I think we have, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Clifton Country Park, what a place. I shall see you very soon in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye.